All right, so now we are doing 2.3, and this is multi-step equations, and this can be a little bit trickier because they're more complex, obviously, than 1 and 2 step. And so how you do this is the first step is always combine like terms on either side of the equation, if there are any, and then move the smaller, so circle that or highlight it if you have a highlighter. You're moving the smaller variable term to get all the variables over on one side of the equation. So the reason why I am stressing smaller, it decreases your likelihood of dealing with negative numbers. Everybody hates negative numbers, myself included. So if we can make a system to where we are less likely to deal with negative numbers, I think we're going to have a higher chance of being successful. Okay, so after you do that and you move the smaller variable term over, then it's just a two-step equation and you solve it just like we've done on the last lesson. Okay, so we're going to start by drawing our line on letter A. And then let's see, on the left side, is there any like terms that I can combine? The answer is no, because you just have a 2, right? All right, on the right side, are there any like terms? And the answer is yes, that is your x's. So x minus 3x, and if it helps you for the x, put a 1x in front, or a 1 in front of the x, because that's what it is. So we're going to do 1x minus 3x gives you negative 2x. Okay, and then actually I'm going to scoot that over. Let's do negative 2x right there. Okay, and then I'm just going to drop down that 6, the equal sign, and the 2 on the left side. Okay, now it's just a two-step equation for this one. So we need to isolate our variable term like we did on the last video. And we're going to try to get that negative 2x by itself by subtracting the 6 minus 6. So now you have 2 minus 6 is negative 4 equals negative 2x. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. So your x is 2. Okay, so let's go to the next one. All right, this one's a little bit, I don't know if it's trickier, I think this one's more simple. Okay, so we have the left side, we have 5a minus 6a. Those are like terms because they both have a's in them. So 5 minus 6 would give you negative 1a, or you could write it as just negative a. I'll leave it as negative 1a equals negative 2. All right, now how do I get that negative 1 off the a? Well, I'm going to divide it off. So divide by negative 1, divide by negative 1. Those cancel, and you have a equals negative 2 divided by negative 1 is 2. All right, the next problem. Draw your line down. Let's go ahead and talk about the left side first. Are there any like terms to combine over on the left? Looks like we have a 3 and a negative x, and you can't combine those. All right, so now let's see on the right side, we have a negative 15. There's nothing to combine that with, but the x's you can. So positive x minus 8x, and if you want, make that positive x a positive 1x. So now when we combine those, you get 1 minus 8 is negative 7x. And then I'm going to just drop down everything else. So you're dropping down the negative 15, the equal sign, the 3, and the minus x. Okay, and please don't be lazy on this and actually show your work, because you're going to have a higher likelihood of getting this right, because it's really difficult to do all this in your head without showing work. So easy to make a little mistake. Okay, so now we're going to move the smaller x because we have x's on both sides. So you may, on your first instinct, think that the negative x is your smaller x, because remember that's just negative 1x. But it's actually not. Negative 7 is smaller than negative 1 if you think about a number line. Okay, so how do I move the negative 7x over? So I'm going to add 7x because it's negative. So add 7x. And then those cancel on that side, and you have on this side negative 1x plus 7x would give you positive 6x. And then I'm going to bring everything else down. And since it's positive, I'm going to put a plus sign in between the 3 and the 6x. Bring your equal and your negative 15 down. And now it's just a two-step equation. So you're trying to isolate this, and we'll do that by subtracting the 3 over minus the 3. And you're left with 6x equals negative 15 minus 3 would be negative 18. Divide by 6. So x is negative 3. All right. Okay, next problem. We have like terms to combine. Looks like on both sides. So there's nothing on the left to combine the 12 with, but those x's you can. So we're going to have this and this to combine. So let's go ahead and do that. 3x minus 3x. That actually, those cancel each other out. You actually end up with 0 right there. And so those cancel each other out. You could write 0x, but it's kind of a wasted step. So I'm just going to write nothing. And then just drop down your 12 on that side, because that's all that's left. And then over on the right side, you also have x's and negative 3x and positive 5x. You can combine those. So negative 3 plus 5 would give you positive 2x. Oh, look at this. It's just a one-step equation. To get the x by itself, you just need to divide by 2. So x equals 6. That was a lot shorter than the last one. Whew, look at this one. This one's really long. That's okay. All right, start by drawing your line. Let's go ahead and just start with the left side. Okay, I have negative 3 and negative 5. Those are your constants. We can combine those. And then we have the x's as well. So 6x plus 6x. So it doesn't matter which one you do. I'll just do the constants first. So negative 3 and minus 5. So that would be negative 8. 6x plus 6x is positive 12x. All right, so everything's combined on the left side. Now let's go to the right side. We have 8x and 6x. Those you can combine. 8 plus 6 gives you 14x. All right, now we have x's on both sides. So on this one, if you notice, we already have the constant numbers on this side. So that means we need to put the x's over there. Okay, so because you want the constants on one side and the x's on the other side. So we need to move that 12x. So in order to move it, just like we've done before, we are going to, instead of adding 12x, we're going to do the opposite, which is minus 12x. Minus 12x. So that is 2x equals negative 8. All right, then let's divide by 2. Those cancel and you're left with x. And on the right side, negative 8 divided by 2 gives you negative 4. All right, now we're getting into the fun stuff. We have some parentheses. So no big deal. We're going to have to use the distributive property like we've done before. So we're going to take the 6, and whenever you distribute, you are multiplying. So it's 6 times 6, which is 36. And then 6 times negative 2x gives you negative 12x. Then you're just going to bring everything else down. All right, so now this one's just a two-step equation, right? There's no like terms on the left side. You can't combine 36 and negative 12. And there's only one term on the right side, so let's just solve it. So we're trying to isolate the negative 12x. So let's go ahead and get rid of that positive 36 by subtracting it. So we'll minus 36 from both sides. And I believe this is 72 equals negative 12x. And then we just need to divide by -12 to get that off the x last step. Divide by -12. X equals 6. -6, excuse me. 72 divided by -12 would be -6. All right, here's another one, just like that last one. So we're going to have to distribute. So 5 times 6x would be 30x. 5 times -2 would be -10. Oh, I forgot to draw my line straight down. And then equals 80. Just drop that down. Now it's a two-step equation. So let's isolate the 30x first by adding that 10 over. So plus 10 plus 10. 30x equals 90. Divide by 30. X equals 90 divided by 30 is 3. Alrighty, this one, this time I gave you a negative distribute, no big deal, you can do it. So -5 times 6x would give you -30x. -5 times -1 becomes +5. Then drop your equal and your 65 down. Okay, and then let's go ahead and isolate your 30x. So we're going to subtract the 5 to get it away from there. I'm going to drop down the -30x equals 65 minus 5 would give you 60. Divide by -30. Divide by -30. So x equals -2. And that's your answer. All right, now we're just getting ridiculous, but that's okay. We've got 2 more problems. You can do this. So now we have a bunch of stuff going on. There's a distributive property. We're probably going to have to combine some like terms. First things first, whenever you're doing problems like this, always distribute first, okay? Because you don't want to start combining stuff in parentheses that's not in parentheses. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to do, we're distributing the +4. So +4 times x gives you 4x. +4 times +2 is +8. Oh, forgot my line again. And then now I'm just going to drop everything else down. Don't be lazy, rewrite it. And since that 4x is positive, I'm going to put a plus sign, do all of that. Okay, now go back to what we were doing for multi-step equations. What do? Well, we combine like terms. So on the left side, it looks like we can combine -3x and 4x. So -3 plus 4 is gonna give you 1x. So you can write 1x, or you can just write x. It's the same thing. +8, drop down the +8, because there's nothing else to combine over there. What about on the right side? Is there anything to do over there? The answer is no, you can't combine those because that's an x and a constant, so we're just going to drop those down as well. All right, let's move the smaller x. Which one's smaller, x or -4x? -4x is smaller. So how do I move it? Since it's -4x, I'm going to have to add 4x to both sides. And those canceled. So now x plus 4x gives you 5x plus 8 equals 23. Now it's a two-stepper, so we're isolating the 5x. So I'm going to -8 minus 8. 5x equals, that would be 15 divided by 5. So x is 3. Good. Last one. Finish strong. I know this video is longer than the other ones. That's okay. This is important. Okay, so draw your line down. What do we do first? Well, we distribute. So let's distribute the negative 4. Be careful because it's negative. So negative 4 times 4 would give you negative 16. Negative 4 times 4x would give you negative 16x. Then we're going to drop down everything on the right side, equals 28 minus 5x. Cool. Now, left side, are there any like terms? The answer is no. We have a constant and we have an x term. What about the right side? Nope. Constant term and x term. So that's out. So now we get to move the x's. Move your smaller x. Which one's smaller? Negative 16x or negative 5x? The answer is negative 16x. So we're going to add 16x. Add 16x. Okay. And so that would give you negative 5. Don't forget the negative on the 5. Plus 16x would give you 11x. And it is positive. So I'm going to drop the plus sign and to go in between that and the 28. Equals, all that's left over on the left side is negative 16. Okay, now it's a two-step, so isolating the 11x by subtracting 28 minus 28. Ooh, negatives for days. Okay, so I hope this math is right. That's negative 44 equals 11x. Last step, divide by 11. So x is negative 4. All right, that is it for multi-step equations. Thanks for watching.